My name is Reverend Rachel Harrison, and this is the Recover Your Soul podcast, a spiritual path to a happy and healthy life. I started Recover Your Soul after having profound changes in my life from my recovery of alcoholism, control addiction, and codependency. I was guided to share the tools and principles of spirituality and soul recovery to help others transform their lives as mine was transformed. For us to overcome external circumstances, we must first turn the attention to ourselves, focusing on inner change. Outer positive results in our lives will follow. As a spiritual coach, I can support you on your path to make real changes that will bring you a life of peace, happiness, connection, and abundance. Visit the website recoveryoursoul.net to book coaching sessions, read the blog, listen to some of my original music, and subscribe to receive email updates. I think of Recover Your Soul as a community. Follow us on social media and join the private Facebook group to support each other and connect. For an extra episode each week and to support this podcast, become a Patreon member or subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Together, we can do the work that will recover your soul. Welcome to the Recover Your Soul podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here today on this journey of soul recovery. I am so blessed and grateful that you're here with me today. I've been thinking a lot about spirituality, as you know, because spirituality is my foundation, and how that plays into this power struggle that we're in the world right now. And that there is all of this just intensity that's happening in the world. There's this power and need to be in control, and soul recovery is about letting go of control. And so it can feel really helpless. It can feel powerless in not the recovery way, but in the what's happening to me and how am I going to make it through this and why is this happening way. And as I have been looking around at the world, and as you know, I don't watch a ton of news. I'm on social media and I'm being abreast of things, and there is just continued sadness, continued heaviness that's coming. And most of you that listen to this podcast are here because you found me through a search of Al-Anon. I did a specific episode that dealt with detachment, and that did what the algorithms do, and it popped me up to the search lists. And I love that this is the foundation of the listenership, is the people who have been affected by alcoholism, been affected by addiction, that have somebody in their life that they love, whether they were raised by it or they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a parent or a sibling or a child, somebody in their life who is affected by addiction. Because again, it comes down to this feeling overwhelmed and powerless over what's happening in someone's life, what's happening in the world. And there is this need for us to have a solution. There is this need for us to fix things. There is this pull for us to do something about it. My soul recovery journey is about learning how to turn within. The soul recovery journey that I'm offering you is this different solution than what we've done in the past, which is holding on to control of everything, which was making us miserable, and allowing ourselves to follow a spiritual journey, allowing ourselves to actually turn our lives over to the care of a higher power as we understand it. This is not a place where I'm going to tell you what that higher power is. That is your own making your own decision to do. This is an opportunity for us to come into our center of who we are. And so I wanted today to speak specifically about spiritual power, about spiritual strength, because ultimately this is the solution to how we can find peace and how we can find contentment and how we can find ease and even happiness, even joy when the world around us, whether it's our immediate family is in chaos or greater world around us continues to be in chaos. So let's talk about it. Let's allow ourselves to connect with our spiritual power. This human world, this world that we walk on as humans, you know, that I believe that we are spiritual beings. We have this spiritual entity of us, and we are in these human body forms on this human planet interacting with each other, and that we get so caught as a human in this part of us that what they call the ego, this part of our brain and our structure of us, that our paradigm that needs something, that needs to be filled, that needs to be validated, that needs to be given some purpose that is bigger, that's more. And that this power, when we use the word power, most of the time it is used in the way of large corporations, government power, the power over somebody else. You may have a family where one person is wielding the power. If you have somebody who is in the throes of addiction, they have oftentimes taken the power over of the family. And that power is not coming from the spiritual place. This power is coming from the very, very rudimentary reptile brain mind, that part of us, that humanness of us that needs to be right, that needs to win, that wants to know that we have control around us, control of others. And if we look at it carefully and you start to dissect how that works for people, we will generally find that this is the source of suffering. This is what the Buddhists say is the source of suffering, this grasping, this demanding that we want something, that desire that we want something. And that the answer to happiness is the ability to let go of that. But I just want to really allow that time to recognize that when we do this work, when we do the soul recovery journey, and we begin to turn inward and we begin to really allow ourselves to be connected with our higher power, with the source, the universal consciousness, God, mind, spirit, Holy Spirit, Jesus, Allah, whatever it is for you, that it can feel like we're giving up on that part of us that is the human that is in the world. That it can feel like it's too much to deny all of the suffering that is happening out in the world. And that if we give up this aspect of ourselves, that we will become powerless and weak instead of strong. So what I want to bring into the conversation today is that allowing ourselves to change, to have that shift in perception, that knowing, that awareness, that we're willing to admit that we are powerless, that we have a willingness to see that everything outside of ourselves, everything, that when we use that human demanding power, we are actually inflicting suffering upon ourselves and the people around us, that kind of desire for control and power is actually what causes all the suffering and all of the darkness and all of the sadness in the world. That is the reason why there is so much just absolute horrific things that happen, so much violence. And so for us to be willing to admit the powerlessness means that we're surrendering in a way that is not making us weak. We're surrendering in a way that is allowing us to be more open, more connected, more attuned, more in touch with the element of ourselves, the part of ourselves that is the strength and the light of our higher power. That light that is within us that actually comes from the gentleness and kindness of Source is a power that is beyond all of the other. It is a brighter light than what is the darkness. Light can always overcome the darkness, but it's hard to be willing to let go. It's hard to believe sometimes when there is so much happening, both in the world and in our personal lives, that we can tune into that inner place in us and allow ourselves to feel the gentleness and the kindness, to have compassion for others who are doing vicious, horrible things, to let go of the control of the people in our lives who are using or manipulating or lying, to let them have their own experience, to believe that they will be on their own path, and to let it be whatever it is. It may not turn out the way that we hope it does. We may not see them actually find themselves, but can we continue to connect to who we are and our own experience, and knowing that this is our personal experience as a human being, not our journey to be on somebody else's journey. I love that since I've been doing spiritual work and became a minister, I've been in the rooms of recovery for a really long time, in and out of the rooms, and that the word higher power is just the word higher power. Well, recently it has become so profound to me to really allow myself to hear that in a new way, that this is the higher power and not that power that wants to control, but the power that wants to guide and influence and remind us of who we really are and how we can be a light in the world to ourselves and to others. That when we allow ourselves to feel that strength, that knowing, that trusting, that we can let go of the pain that comes from trying so hard to force things to happen. And I know that so many of you have told me stories and relayed back to me just incredible journeys of how when you have let go and you've made that shift in yourself to trust this higher power, that power is actually your strength, that all of a sudden all these doors open up for you and things start happening in your life one after the other that is leading you into new and more beautiful and profound ways of being. And some of those ways don't mean that the people that have been in your life in the past come along for the ride. Some of it means that you have the strength to allow them just to be on their own journey and to love them and to see the beauty of who they are and let go of the need to only see the dysfunction, to see the disease. These are major shifts in ourselves, and it's all that we have. I think of this power that we have, this spiritual power, almost like a superpower. And that when we go out into the world, there is so much craziness going on, and we can choose which power we're going to pull out of the closet. We can pick up our sword of anger and of rage and of all the shame and all the things that we do to the world, the demanding that it is away. We can pick up our sword and we're going to fight and we're going to force what we want to be out there. Or we can put on our cape, our superpower spiritual cape, and we can allow ourselves to know that with that superpower, no matter what's happening out there, we can dodge it, we can deflect it, we can move through it, we can burn through it, we can freeze it, we can love it, we can embody all of it with awareness. We can allow ourselves to allow the words that need to come out of us to maybe heal somebody to come, to keep our mouth closed in situations where we want to give our sword and tell people what to do and who to be and how they should make it happen. But instead, we can allow it just to be, because we have this superpower cape on that knows that and trusts that our higher power is actually leading us to what is the greatest good and is actually there for the other people in this situation, even if they can't see it. That superpower allows us to go out into the world and not get so damaged. It's emotional bulletproof. It allows us to be able to have people say and do things that in the past would have come right into our ego and right into our self, where we thought, this is really about them cutting me down or them telling me something. And the truth is, people can't make you feel anything. You choose what you're going to feel. That those words are just words. And yes, they may have a lot of emotion behind them. They may be angry. They may be full of despair. They may have trying to get you to do something for them. But we get to choose how we're going to utilize our spiritual strength to discern whether this is actual information that is good for us to do something with. Are these just emotions and feelings that someone's just vomiting all over you? Your superpower cape can keep it from getting all over you and you taking it all on. We get to discern and decide what of all these things actually is real. And most of the stuff that people are saying back and forth to each other as we complain about our spouses or our kids or our friends or our job with each other, and we're commiserating about all the stuff that isn't working, and we're trying to inflict that power and that desire for something to be different, and we're creating our own suffering. That is the suffering that comes from wanting it to be other than what it is, which includes a lot of the stuff that's happening out there in the world and in our personal lives. If we can see the strength in being able to hold space for people who are in so much pain, if we can feel that spiritual strength, that knowing that this too shall pass, that they too are held in a spiritual place, that they too can access the knowledge that there are terrible things that happen in the world. And if people hold on to this spiritual strength, they too can make it through with learning, with compassion for themselves, with a deeper understanding, that they too can choose to not allow the darkness to overcome them, that they too can just move forward in their life into a broader, even more expansive part of themselves, even when really devastating things have happened. I know too many people that get caught up in what happened, and that hard and that hurt and that darkness continue to just permeate everything that they do, every feeling that they have, everything that they say, everything that they see continues to be washed with this pain. And that's a choice that we have of whether we're going to allow that darkness and that power and the intensity of the world to be how we live. Or are we going to put our spiritual cape on, our superpower cape, and be present here? Allow that sadness to be. Allow the discomfort to be. Notice the feelings. Let them move through you. Allow them to have their course, their natural course, and allow them to dissipate, and then let them go. Knowing that you are actually connected to your higher power who is guiding you and holding you and supporting you. That is ultimately the solution. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy to walk out into the world and be in this spiritual place when there is so much going on. But the more of us that can carry the light, the more of us that can be willing to be in this solution. This is the solution from the big book of AA. That the solution to alcoholism is a spiritual awakening. That the solution that is given in the Bible is a connection with God. The solution that is given in the religions is a connection with those higher power sources. I believe it's all the same. I believe that it is all different languages speaking the same language of love. And we hear it from New Thought, we hear it from the mindfulness masters, we hear it from Buddhism, we hear it from all of these places that we are listening to. And we're listening because we're interested. And you're listening to this because you are interested in finding healing for yourself. Recover Your Soul offers a spiritual path to a happy and healthy life. And that spiritual path is letting go of our human power, our human strength, where we think we are in control. Letting go, turning over to the higher power of your understanding, knowing that you are supported and loved and being guided, and you were brought here uniquely with your gifts to be given to the world, to be a light to the world. You are so important and so special. And all that's happening in your life with the people around you, you care so much. You want so much to provide them with love, to provide them with support, advice, to help them, to fix them, to caregive for them. And yet, the most important place that you can be putting your energy for them to heal, actually, is for you to heal. For you to be the one who does this work on yourself and connects even more deeply with your superpower cape on, choosing to live out of spiritual strength, spiritual power, connected to your higher power, to source, feeling connected to the one, so that you can radiate light and love and let go of reactivity, let go of projection, let go of anger, let go of fear, and allow the guidance that comes from that amazing universal mind that will help you through each and every single one of these experiences, these circumstances, these seemingly difficult pieces of your life. You are doing everything just right. There's no such thing as perfection, but when we let go and we allow our lives to be guided in this way, we will be guided one step at a time to exactly as it's supposed to be, even if it doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like. When we come from our human strength, our desire for our ego to be fulfilled, we're open to weakness of that ego and its suffering, and we begin to have destructive behaviors. We fall into fear, doubt, and lack mentality. We forget our connection to this higher power. So how do we do this? We need to want to change. We must be willing to want to be happy and have a beautiful life. We must believe that this greater, higher power is more than anything that we've ever imagined. And we must be willing to turn our lives over to this higher power. You have a choice. You have a choice in what you're going to decide to do. If you need help with this, if you are interested in doing soul recovery work and you'd like some guidance, please book a coaching session with me. I'm here for you to help you along this path. Uniquely yours, each and every single person I work with is totally different because you are uniquely you. This is your soul recovery. I can't wait to help you on this path of serenity, a spiritual path to a happy and healthy life. Together, we can do the work that will recover your soul. Until next time, namaste. Are you wondering, how do I go deeper on my path to soul recovery? Or how do I support this great podcast? Well, here's how. Here's your call to action. If you're ready for real interchange and would like to work directly with me, visit the website and book a coaching session. I'm here to support you on your unique path. I'm here to help you let go of the past, to deepen your connection with your higher power, whatever that is for you, and to discover and then step forward into a happy and healthy life. You can also become part of our soul recovery community. One way is to join the support group. It's the first Monday of every month. It's by Zoom from 6 to 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and you can register on the website to get your Zoom link. Recover Your Souls on social media. Of course, there's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, lots of ways to connect, and there's even a private Facebook group that will allow for more communication and conversation about soul recovery. There is also an extra bonus episode every Friday if you are an Apple Podcast subscriber or Patreon member. I'd also love all of the listeners to subscribe on the website so that I can keep you informed on what's going on with the podcast, the community, with me, and anything that's up and coming and new and great about soul recovery. Also, if you just take a little bit of time to give me 5 stars, a quick review, and to share the podcast with your friends and family, we're helping even more people to have soul recovery in their lives. If this podcast is providing you spiritual nourishment and inspiration, thank you for going to the website and pushing the donate button, whatever donation feels right to you. This means so much to me because I have this enormous mission of sharing soul recovery with the world. And your donations, your bookings, your subscriptions, your being part of this community is helping that to happen. Together, we can do the work that will recover your soul.